Thank you for joining today again. And today we'll be looking at the intro to the spreadsheet interface in this data management series. And as we all are aware of, most of our data, we have been used to the rows and columns and how data is structured. However, many of us still struggle and try to understand how to use this powerful tool in organizing our data sets. So basically, spreadsheet defined, we just look at what spreadsheet are, and they're basically applications used to organize, analyze, and store data in tabular formats. And they're also popular options, so like Google Sheet and Excel. Some of us use WPS and several others. There are other spreadsheet that a lot of other people use for one reason or the other, and they all have their own features and pricing models and all that. But basically, they are used to process data using formulas, calculations. You can also save time, automate your data, depending on what you have. Some of them have extra, like Google Sheet has app scripts to do some high level automation. Microsoft Excel has VBAs, they have Office scripts to do also some high level automation. Now, so what are the differences between the two we're really focusing on? Google Sheets and Excel. So we have collaboration. Google Sheet was basically designed for live collaboration with chat and version tracking. Excel was designed for concurrent editing. However, they've updated in the recent times. They've also updated their collaboration experience where people can collaborate together, but it still gives that the collaboration model is not as effective as Google Sheets is. But the reason why Excel was designed for concurrent editing just means that you have to save your document before you can. The other person can see your details. However, if for one reason or the other there are overlapping data in two of them, Excel has a way of trying to bring to attention which one should be kept. So for data analysis, Google Sheet has a lot of libraries for formulas, but they lack some high-level statistical tests, unlike Excel, which has an extensive library of formulas and also advanced functions. Data visualization offers, in Google Sheet, you have some sense of data visualization options, very, very basic, while Excel has some high level. However, in recent times, we've seen that both of them are also expanding with the use of extensions and add-ons to be able to create more high-level visualizations. We also have the interface and simplicity. So Google Sheet is quite simple and straightforward, and it's easy to use. It's clear and is minimally cluttered. So it was really designed with the minimalistic ideology in mind. And for Excel, we have advanced features, interface, maybe very, very cluttered for beginners. So you can be very, very confused as to how this looks with the too many features that it comes with. So for price, Google Sheet is free for individuals and paid for businesses, while because it comes with your Gmail basically or your Google Workspace account, while the Excel requires a subscription. So although if you have an Outlook account, you can use it for free on the web, but it's not as user friendly as you will use the desktop application. So for the desktop app, mostly we either use Microsoft 365 or you buy a one-off purchase for that. All right. So one of the reasons why we use spreadsheet is something like this. So let's see how very terrible formatted data is. So we using our example, like we said in the last in the introduction course, where we are managing the names and roles, or the names of all the functionaries. So this is the list of functionaries that have been approved or not approved, and you can see that in this section, the name, role, and all that, you can see the person that formatted the data put the name and role, and you can see Adeola Olushola with enumerator. The email comes with phone number, phone has approved. Now this can be used, but it will require a very, very high level and significant cleaning. So that is why it is very important for us to understand what does we are bringing this early, because we want us to see how this has an impact. So we're going to get to how it has an impact. So Imagine you are a decision maker and you told them to print out the list of all the approved and not approved individuals. You're going to be very, very confused because you can see name and role. You expect, okay, even as bad as it bad, the name should be after that, the comma and a role. But emails, you can see phone numbers, you can see roles in some, you can even see the status in some. So it could be very, very disastrous and very tiring, really. So, and this brings us to the very, very important aspect of why we need to properly design our data. Then now let's look at it if it was well formatted. So we have the name, and only data set in the name is our names. You have the roles, of all those that are there. You have the emails of them, you have the phone numbers, and you have the status. So you can easily sort. So if I sort by status, if I sort by status, I can see whether it's approved or not, or and other things. I could sort by role, I could sort by name, I could filter the data and know what it is. Now, in the well formatted list, you can see that each category of information has its own column, and it makes it easier to read first and also analyze. And like for instance, if you were to go back to the unformatted and you were asked to give the actual number of enumerators, supervisors, and analysts in real time, it would be very, very disastrous. But if you had this list, all you needed to do was to use some formulas to draw the number of these different values, and that will save you time and space. Now let's see what the spreadsheet really looks like. So basically, we understand how these are rows, these are the column names. So the columns are identified with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and to the end. And we have the columns. Now in Google Sheets, you have access to a spreadsheet having as much as 5 million data set, 10 million now actually. But why Google Sheet is optimized for cloud is because when you open a spreadsheet first, you have the sheet limited to 1,000 characters. 1,000 rows, and then 26 columns. So from A to Z, and 1,000 rows. So depending on how many you need up to the end. However, for Excel, the entire 1,000,000 and 40 something thousand rows will be open at the same time and up to the end. So these are things that I think it's ZZZ. I don't know. I'm not sure. But these are things that this is why the web version is quite clumsy while using it, because it loads the entire columns, which makes it difficult for users to use. Now let's look at what a column is. So a column is just something that contains a variable. So remember the data sets the initial data set we created with in our first course, where we said this. So you can see that this column A contains only serial numbers, so I shouldn't see anything outside of that. Column B contains name, column C contains functionary ID, column D phone number, email address, role applied, and all that. So this is what columns mean, and they contain one specific type of variable. Then we have the rows. The rows are an observation. So in our example, we can see that the first observation, which is categorized with 1, is for Ibukun, who is a functionary ID, who has a functionary ID of 1029230, a phone number of 08123456789. His email is xyz@.com. You have the role he applied for as supervisor, and you have his application status as not approved. So that is very, very straightforward. You can see all the details of the person. So that's the entire observation, the entire role. Now, coming to what Excel is. Excel is a record. So let's look at this. Ibukun is a record under the name column and with the observation serial number 1. So the cell contains only one type of record, and your data should not be too clumsy and there shouldn't be too much of information in a particular record. So the most times where you see most in a place where you have too much of information are usually remarks, and in these days we found a way of even shortening and making sure the remarks are more readable and easy to use in the real sense. So that's it for columns, rows, and cells. Now, what are Google Sheet interfaces? So let me take us to what it looks like. So when you open a spreadsheet for the first time, which you can do through your Gmail, you can do through. So let us open a spreadsheet. So that's Drive. I'm going to enter the URL here, drive.google.com. So in Drive, you can open a spreadsheet. So this is a very new email. So let's open a new spreadsheet. So you come to the new button, and you can see Google Sheets. So you can see all the kind of files you have. You can open more. You can see drawings, maps, and all that. But we're sticking to Google Sheets. So you can open a blank or from a template. So we're going to go with a spreadsheet that has a template. I mean a blank listing. So once you do that, you've opened it. Another way to open a spreadsheet is to use your sheets.new, right? So once you open this, it opens you a new spreadsheet automatically. Then the third way, so we've seen how to open through our Google Drive. We've seen how to open through the URL. Third way is to go to the sheet interface. That is sheets.google.com. And yes, you're set. So because we have just two, we can see it. Now all you need to do is to click on the blank, or you have different templates you could use for whatever reason. So we're going to go with the blank, and we've opened a new spreadsheet. So yeah, so that is for creating a new spreadsheet in Chrome or Excel, or Bing or whatever browser you're using. So let's look at how this interface works. So I'm going to start with the top. So this first, let's look at this sheet icon is to return you back to the Google Sheets open list of sheet where you have the initial sheet. So it's to return you back to this interface, right? So that's what that really does. So yeah, when you open a new sheet, you can see that it's always titled untitled spreadsheet. So if you click on it, you change the title. Then this star is to star the sheet, whether you want it to be very easy to find. Then you have this for the location of your file and the document status. So if you're offline or online, you could use it to tell you whether it's saved to Drive or saved on your local computer. So that's for the top. Then the next one is we have the menu bar. So this contains several different functions that come with Google Sheets. File, you can print through there and all those things. Edit, you can use to clean, cut, copy, paste, and all those. The view, you can use to freeze top bars, and we'll get into all that. Insert, you can insert new column, insert people shapes, and all those things. Format, data, tools, extensions, help. So extensions are just where you want to create or make your sheets more, create some automation or something like that, or extra things. You can get some of these automations. For instance, some of my sheet has add-ons that I create, and some proprietary, some I get from the Chrome web store, and I use it to automate some of my processes. Then next thing we have is the shortcut bar. So these are basically also things you can find in the menu bar, but they are easy to just click on. So you have the undo, redo, paste, format, painter, and all that. So but anytime you hover over any of them, the sheet gives you the name of what you're looking at. Then we have the formula bar and the cell reference. So you can see that this is saying A2. So it's telling you that it is in column A and row 2, the particular cell you are currently on. So if you highlighted an entire column, it will show you A A column A. That's what it helps you to identify. So at any point in time, if you're lost about where you are, you can always use this to trace what cell you're actually referencing. I've had a few of my friends that when they start using spreadsheets, they would scroll to the end and forget themselves, either on Excel or Sheets, and they'll be looking for. They will think their data is almost it was gone, and would sometimes delete the data and start again. Unknown to them, they had already gone outside of scope and all that. So instead of them pressing Control Home, all they did was to clean. So if they had looked at the top here, they will have seen the cell reference and know that okay, they are in the wrong place. And you can always edit the cell reference to go to a particular cell. Then you have the formula bar. So this is what, when you enter anything within the cell, it shows here and it helps you. This FX is to call up in case in any time you want to use some inbuilt formulas into Google Sheets, you can use that. Now, next thing is this work area. So I've explained it earlier. That is just where you put your work, you design your data, or put your data sets to play with. Now we also have the other side. So towards the right side of the Google Sheets interface, you can see your collaboration tools. So these are comments. This is when you want to share that particular document to Google Sheets. This is an activity tracker if it's on, and this is the share button. So if you want to share your file with another individual, you can easily share with them, either whether they use Google or not. Then finally, we have the Sheets toolbar, and here this helps to tell us how this helps to add one more sheet to your sheet. This is to list all the sheets within your toolbar, and this is the current sheet you're working on. So the current sheet will always show in blue, or blue, basically to show in blue, telling you to be highlighted in blue, telling you that it has been, or it is currently being active. So let's go to the spreadsheet and see what exactly we're doing. Okay, now let's go to the other one, the empty one. So yeah, this is a spreadsheet, and we are going to do some basic things. So this, okay, now this is showing me that this document is open in another place. So you can see that my name is showing up here because this is the cell I'm currently referencing. So this is how the collaboration in Google Sheets shows you, is done. So now you can see that this is telling me someone is here. Now, if I enter anything and I've not pressed enter, and I go to the original one, it will tell me that I'm also here, and to gray it out. So this way you get to know that the other person is someone else is working on the same file, and it gives you the name of the person. Even if you shared a live document to a lot of people without several things, you'll be able to see, you still able to see where anybody's writing. So this is what we said when we said Google Sheet was designed basically for collaboration. So I'm going to take us through just some of the basics. Some of them you would have to read through on your own, or you can read my blog, which will be posted in the description. Sorry. All right, so yeah, let's go to file. So basically what you see in files are creating a new file, open, import, make a copy, share, email, download. These are just basically how to organize your file, or what you want to do with a particular file. That's what it just means. You want to rename the file, you want to move it, or all that. So this is where the file, so test file, right? And you save, and the name is saved. Then we have the edit. So edit, like I said, is just to edit the document, copy, paste, paste special. We'll get into what this different space special is when we have the need for it. You move, you delete, or you find and replace. Then we have view, show. So you can show your formula bar. If you don't want it, it's removed. That's a formula bar we're discussing earlier. You can show the grid lines if you want. If you don't, you can remove it. And this is automatically reflected as I am working with the other person. So you can see that all of this happened in real time. So once you see that, you can get to know that someone else is working, and that's why it's quite good. Then formula. So let's see. So what this is saying is you want to see where all your formulas are showing. So let's equal to sum 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. So now, yes, this is a particular sum. It's actually a formula, but it's not showing. It's not giving you the results. Why? Because you are currently you're viewing all the formulas that ever existed in your sheet. So you can see now that it has changed it. So it did not. It sorry. Okay, so yeah, so the formula is supposed to be 468. So if I had another the formulas that if I click it on, you can actually use the control dots. Sorry, control apostrophe, the one beside, not apostrophe now, it's a very curly um sign beside your one, yeah, just before your number one on your keyboard, and it toggles it on and off. Then you can also freeze the pane. You can freeze the first row. Now this is very important. The way freeze panes work in Google Sheets is quite slightly different from how it works in Excel. So in Excel, if I clicked on cell C3 and I wanted to freeze a pane, what it does is if I say freeze panes, it freezes everything before column C and everything above row 3. So that means cell C2 and I mean the rows in C2 and column B will be frozen. So while you scroll back and forth on the sheet, those two panes will not move. However, if you do want to do the same thing, if you want to do exactly so, we have to freeze the first two. Rather than clicking on it on Google Sheets where you click on cell C, you go to cell C2 and first freeze up to 2 rows, up to row 2 because it's currently there. Now view, if you want to freeze the panes, this one you have to do it both at the same, separately. Now you can see that it's telling you that you should freeze up to column C because your cell is currently referencing C2. So if you want to put it on B, what you do is to click on anywhere on column B and freeze up to B. So that way, how you move the columns A and B do not move along with your navigation, or every time you move A to Z, it doesn't move with your navigation. Now I forgot to mention this. So this is to add more rows to your data set or to your spreadsheet environment or work area. So imagine you have exhausted the 1000 and you just want to add 100 more columns. It adds it, and you can see that it has increased it to 1100 and 1100. So yeah, so that is how the view basically works. Then hidden sheets, if you have some, zoom, level, and full screen. Then we have the insert. So you can insert cells, rows, columns, sheets. Then you can insert charts, pivot table, image, drawing, function. So we go in, we would work with some of these things. We'll not work with all of them because they might not be very important or necessary to the use case. But we have we have some videos on all these other areas that you would like. We don't know where you like to work with. Now format. So in Google Sheets, you can set up your themes, how you want the data, or imagine your company has a designed theme and they also have a specific what's it called? They have a specific text for that they use. However, this is very limited because you can only see that you can use any of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You only have 6 listings. So let's imagine we use Comic Sans. You can see this has actually changed to Comic Sans. And let's imagine my text color. Yeah, so companies could tell you that your chart background might be this color. Your accent, you might leave it at black. That is, accents are like depending on what you're looking for. So these are just very basic stuff that you would want. You can see it's already changing here. Let me change this to red. So it changed. So this is how it affects so you can set whatever you want, and it helps you to save time in formatting documents. So if you have, for instance, a set of let's imagine your organization uses a particular set of colors for their charts and all that. You can use this to customize that, and once you're done, you would be able to see it. So let's imagine we have 579. All right, so we want to create a chart. Let's insert a chart. So you see that, let me, yeah, so if you look at this chart, you can see that it chose the first accent color because that was it. So if I will, so this basically just helps you to see how organizing your color is. And you see that I put the chart background to be light green, or I don't know which color really it is, and it actually made that. So this will save you time in organizing how your sheets should look like for your organization. All right, then so insert, we've seen that you just used to insert several different things, tick boxes and all that. Formats where you want to, so this is where you define what kind of um, column, row, or cell you want it to look like, your alignment, wrapping, rotation, and all the rest. Then you have data. So data is where you do some high level data manipulation. So we have slicers, filter views. So these are, some of these are very advanced for those that really use for deeper things. However, we have we're gonna look through the basics during this series. Then we have tools like spelling, automate, creating a new form. So one beautiful thing is you can easily create a form directly from Google Sheet so that the form is referenced into the sheet you're currently working on. Then extensions, like I said, add-ons, macros, app script, and app sheet. And we have help. So you can find anything, training, updates, and some of the other things. So basically that's how the Google Sheet interface is. I'll show you how the Excel interface looks like in the next video. So so now that we've seen that, in the next video we'll talk more into the types of we'll talk more into the way Excel works and give some of the differences, and then we'll know what next to do. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.